Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a sports betting perspective, with pro handicappers Alex B. Smith and veteran sports writer Jimmy Murphy. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. It is Thursday, October 21st. Ian Cameron with Alex B. Smith and Jimmy Murphy with you, ready to break down the Thursday NHL card. So it's going to be a very big card today, 10 games. We're not going to waste any time, get right into it. I do want to say, though, the TNT broadcast again last night was outstanding. Lots of fun. That crew is terrific. They're having a great time on the set. Well done, TNT. That's two great Wednesday nights of NHL act. The games were pretty good, too. But the crew was outstanding again with that last week. So let's get into last night once again. So let's get into it, guys. We've got the New York Islanders, Columbus Blue Jackets. New York Islanders minus 145. Road favorites in this game, 5.5 the total in this one. New York Islanders, unfortunately for our good friend Alex B. Smith here, get their first win at the hands of the Chicago Blackhawks the other night, but a much-needed win for the Islanders, who really had been struggling going into that game. A tough schedule as well to begin the season. They had to play a very good Florida team, a Carolina team that's still very good. They lost both of those games, but got on the in the win column for the first time on Monday night with the 4-1 win over Chicago. I think they can build on that here. I know Columbus is off to the 2-1 start, but you beat up a bad Arizona team. You beat expansion Seattle in overtime, a Seattle team that's had a tough road trip here. And then, of course, they lose to Columbus 4-1. In their last game. Normally don't love laying road chalk, but I did hear you guys. I took the Islanders minus 140. I think there's a step up in class for Columbus. Let's be honest. Detroit, Seattle, Arizona, nowhere in the hemisphere, if you will, of this Islanders team. And I think the Islanders, when you look at it, a good team getting their first win. I think there's a chance for them to get on a little bit of a run, get some momentum going. And they are the better of these two teams still, in my opinion. So I like the Islanders here. Willing to lay the moderate road chalk here, minus 140, minus 145. Alex, what's your thoughts here? Islanders, Blue Jackets.
Yeah, it's a stay away game for me. If I looked at anything, it would probably be first period over. And the reason for it is looking at the last Islanders game against the Hawks. The Hawks had a ton of chances in that first period against the Islanders. It was Ilya Sorokin who was basically standing on his head, making some big saves. But all the high danger chances, all the quality shots and a couple of good power play looks came from the Hawks. They just couldn't find the back of the net. And eventually they wore down and just kind of got lethargic like they normally have in those last few games. And the third period, Islanders took over and got all the goals they needed to win. So it was a bit of a sloppy win for the Islanders. And now, they continue on this road trip. Sorokin's going again. You wonder if he starts to fatigue now. Most of these guys will start to fatigue on this long road trip. And they're catching like I said, it's a Columbus team. Yeah, they've beaten up on bad teams, but look at Seattle was the best of the two teams they beat. And they're in the same situation on this long road trip. They caught them a bit winded. So maybe, Columbus could find, a goal early here and get some momentum going in their favor and kind of take some of the steam out of this Islanders team. Because at some point with these teams on the long road trips like Vancouver, who we'll talk about later, like Seattle and like the Islanders, all it takes is a bad first period, and all of a sudden they can start getting deflated and say, hey, we got a lot more games to go. Let's just chalk this one up and be done with it. So there might be some opportunities to get some, goal props late as well. So this is a stay away game for me as far as pregame goes, but I'll watch this and track it and maybe look for something in game.
All right, good stuff. Jimmy, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, guys, I love the Islanders here right now. I think they're about to start to get their sails and set free from that sort of lull they were in the beginning of the season. I really see them starting to break it open a bit. I really love Sorokin's game the other night, and as Alex pointed out, I mean, he was the difference, and I think he's going to feed off that confidence. So I'm going to go with the Jimmy puck line right out of the gate here. Give me the Islanders minus 1.5.
All right, Jimmy puck line, first game. Islanders minus 1.5 for him in this one. All right, we move on to Washington, New Jersey. Washington minus 130, road favorites, 6 the total. Pretty impressive victory for the Capitals last time out against the Colorado Avalanche. Nice victory for them there. We'll see if they can build on that here tonight, taking on this New Jersey team that, for the Devils, when you look at their start to the year, beat Seattle, beat Chicago, off to a nice 2-0 start. However, a bit of bad news for them. Jack Hughes getting injured. Very disappointing, disheartening to see that if you're a Devils fan, especially the way he had started the year. And he is on injured reserve with a dislocated left shoulder. So tough bit of news here for the New Jersey Devils being without Hughes for the foreseeable future. When you look at this recent series between these two teams, Washington's dominated it. 8 straight head-to-head victories over the New Jersey Devils. Although last year, the Jersey, I should say, played them very tough in a lot of games. You look at many of these victories were 1-goal victories. You look at the meetings last year, they played each other obviously a bunch of times because of the way the schedule was. You played your own division. That was it. Washington 4-3, 5-2, 3-2, 5-4, 4-3. They had a 4-0 shutout, and then the last 2 wins for Washington against Jersey were 2-1 and 5-4. So, New Jersey really played this team tough here. And it looks easy after Washington beat Colorado the other night, take the Washington Capitals, only laying -130 here on the road. Jack Hughes out for New Jersey. That's significant, which means they're going to have to ask more from Sharon Govich and Hischier, and other guys are going to have to step up offensively. But here's the thing you worry about, and I've said this, the angle. You know what the angle is. I've mentioned it a bunch. First game without the key player. Everybody steps up a lot of times. Everybody tries to do a little bit more. We say, hey, for one game, Jack Hughes, we're going to miss him, obviously. But, hey, we can step up. We can do a little bit more. We can try to chip in a little bit more offensively. You could see that kind of mindset here from the New Jersey Devils. So just be careful of that. And New Jersey, it may not be a pushover here, and they give Washington some trouble. I lean to the over here, even without Hughes. I think there's a little bit of value at 6 here. We've seen a few higher scoring games, particularly in Jersey with these teams. Washington, of course, exploding for 6 the other night against Colorado. And even without Hughes, I could see New Jersey again. This is a game where maybe offensively you get other players in this lineup step up at least for one game. So I'm off the side, but I do have a small bet here, over 6, Washington, New Jersey. What do you like here, Alex?
Well, you mentioned about how these two teams have played each other awfully tough. It's the 9 of the last 10 games won by Washington, but a lot of one-score games in those battles. And now you're looking at the Devils team. There's no Jack Hughes. Also of note, there's no Jonathan Bernier in net. He's out with a lower body injury. And, of course, Mackenzie Blackwood isn't ready yet. So now it'll be Scott Wedgwood in net and Nico Dawes as the backup. So that's something to keep an eye on. Wedgwood's numbers against Washington, not anything crazy, but one thing I noted is that he's 1-1-3 against Washington in 5 starts with a 2.89 goals against. So looking at all this, Washington's playing well, but New Jersey's always played them tough, and they're without Jack Hughes, their top scorer. So they might want to try to, play more of a traditional New Jersey Devil style, kind of muck things up, slow things down. I really like the draw here, plus 320. I definitely could see this going in the overtime. And then, you have a fighter chance with either team. You can maybe adjust and pick up somebody on the money line in game. But I could definitely see this going past 60 minutes, and then it's all hands on deck from there. So I'm going to go with the draw at a good price.
Yeah, 3.11 goals against, 900 save percentage. So those are, slightly below average numbers, I would say, for Scott Wedgwood in net last year for the New Jersey Devils. And, of course, the Capitals have been going back and forth. Vanacek and Samsonov got the start the other night, but Vanacek had started before that, so they have not confirmed who's in net yet tonight for them. Jimmy, what do you like here, Caps Devils?
Yeah, I'm going with another puck line here, guys. I think that Jack Hughes injury is really not just obviously a loss in terms of skill, but a mental loss as well. He was really becoming part of that team, growing into himself in the early going here, and clearly had become a leader on that team. So not having him around now all of a sudden, that's going to hurt them a lot. So I like the Capitals minus 1.5.
All right, going for that puck line at a nice plus price, Jimmy, with Washington in this one. All right, we move on now to Colorado and Florida. Should be one of the games of the night here. Florida, minus 120 to minus 130, home favorite. 6.5 being the total here in this game. The Avalanche, sometimes it's not easy. And betting isn't easy, but sometimes it looks easy when you see Nathan McKinnon coming back, and here's Colorado. They got to bounce back here after losing to St. Louis. They get McKinnon back, and what ends up happening, they lose 6-3 in the first game with McKinnon back. And we talked about this a little yesterday, that, didn't play his absolute best there last night or Tuesday night in his first game back. And even though he was asymptomatic with his COVID-19 case, the fact remains that still you're out of commission for a while, not on the ice a whole lot at all. And it takes you maybe a game to get back into that full strength kind of mode. And I think we saw that a little bit from Nathan McKinnon. I expect him, and I expect the offense to be better and to get Gabriel Landeskog back. He's finished serving his 2-game suspension So you'll see the captain of the Avalanche, Gabe Landeskog, back in the lineup tonight. And we have a Jonas Johansson sighting here for the Colorado Avalanche in net. And you've got Sergei Bobrovsky in net for Florida, who's actually not played that terribly in the 2 starts he had, Bobrovsky, so far this year for Florida. He played well against the Islanders, not so well against the Pittsburgh Penguins. In the first start, 5-4, gave up some goals. He was better against the Islanders, but look, sometimes when you see a good start from Bobrovsky last time out, you don't get one quite as good the next time. That's why he's been kind of erratic and up and down, the last couple of seasons. So I think you guys kind of know where I'm heading in this game. It's the over, and that is indeed the case, 6.5. I do think we'll see goals here, over 6.5 with these. And look, Florida played a great defensive game, against Tampa Bay. And I'm not going against Florida right now, but it does have that feel of, a huge win for them. They put a lot of stock and onus into that game against the Lightning. You could tell the Panthers wanted that one badly, guys. It wasn't your average run-of-the-mill regular season game on a Monday night, for the Florida Panthers, Tuesday night. It was definitely a game that there was incentive to get the job done. They played a great 60-minute game. I think it'll be tough to duplicate that. And with Colorado now having McKinnon for a second game now, you should feel more comfortable and more in rhythm, in sync. And now you get Landeskog back too. So I think Colorado, it sets up favorably for them. But just because I've cashed with Florida a bunch, I like this team so much, I'm not fading them. I'm just saying this may not be the spot that you want to back Florida tonight. So I'm just sticking to the over here, 6.5. I think we'll see some goals both ways and a very entertaining hockey game as well between these two. I think we'll see that tonight. Alex, what do you think here? Avs, Panthers.
Yeah, I like the over here, but I'm not playing 6.5. I'm going to wait and play this in game. I'm going to try and grab something in the first 3 or 4 minutes, and get that down to 6 or maybe even a 5.5 and lay a little bit of juice. But I definitely think this is going to be an over game, except Bobrovsky. We know his tendencies. When he has a good game, he tends to have a bad one the next. Jonas Johansson, I have him ranked as one of the bottom tier backup goalies in the league, obviously. And with both these teams, like I said, the firepower offensively, Florida's been rolling red hot, scoring 10 goals the last 2 games. Colorado getting Landeskog back. That's going to be a huge boost for that offense. This should be a fun one to watch. But like I said, get a better price adjusted in game rather than laying a 6.5. I even see a 7 at one shop right now. So you're definitely going to see some better numbers if you just wait just a shift or 2 in game.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's no question. Definitely, you might be able to get a better price, better number with the total if you wait, especially if it starts off slow in the first few minutes. All it takes is that first 3-4 scoreless minutes. How many times have we said that? And you can get a 6.5 into a 5.5 right away, just like that. That's all it'll take. And I know someone in our chat, Jarek, one of our great loyal supporters, viewers, listeners of the Ice Guys, like an Ekblad over to score a point tonight, and shots on goal. Look, he had 5 more shots on goal the other night against Tampa Bay. I've said this, 2 defensemen, Adam Fox for the Rangers and Aaron Ekblad for the Panthers. Look at them shots on goal. Those 2 guys aren't scared to fire from the point and let that shot go. Both of them have been doing that this year. So again, we'll see when and how quickly books adjust. They haven't to Aaron Ekblad's high volume of shooting so far this year. Jimmy, what do you think? Colorado, Florida.
Yeah, guys, I think this is going to be a great game as well. This is definitely one I want to try and tune into. It's going to be exciting. Two powerhouses that we could definitely see playing when all is said and done at the end of the season. I'm going to go, though, with the Panthers in this. I'm going to ride that hot team right now. And I look, Bobrovsky, I get what you guys are saying. I know his track record has been bad following a good start, but there's something different about him this year. He seems to have a little chip on his shoulder after everything that went down last season. So give me the Panthers in regulation for this game right now.
All right, there we go. Florida Panthers in regulation for Jimmy with this one. It's hard to stay away from this like it is. I mean, I know it's you coming off the big win against Tampa. You worry, did they have that same kind of mindset tonight? But it's not. I think Colorado should, that's a good hockey team, and that's a proving ground type of team. So, you may not see that, let down or hangover, if you will, from the Tampa game. So, and I like Florida so much, Jimmy, that even though I'm concerned in this spot, there's no way I'm going against this team right now.
Yeah.
Not after how they've played. So Jimmy liking them in regulation tonight against Colorado. San Jose, Ottawa. We've got even money both sides here. 6 the total, shaded to the under. Let's give the Sharks some credit. 2-0 to start the year and beating Montreal and Winnipeg, 2 teams that made the playoffs last year for this San Jose Sharks team. So let's not totally discredit the way they've started here so far this year. We'll see if they can keep it up, because it was a very impressive victory for them over Montreal. 5-0 victory over the Canadiens and a 4-3 win over the Jets before that. We'll see if they can carry it over to tonight here against Ottawa. You look at Ottawa, they will finally welcome back Brady Tkachuk. He is finally ready. He had a little conditioning stint. You got the contract extension done, missed the first few games, got the conditioning stint in, and now the Senators have ruled that, and DJ Smith, the head coach, says he's good to go, and he'll be in the lineup making his season debut tonight for the Ottawa Senators. So that's a good thing. And same with Matt Murray in net for the Ottawa Senators for the first time this year. So we'll see how he fares. Now, look, I'm on Ottawa here, and it's dicey, I know, with Matt Murray in net, because you never know what you're going to get from him. And certainly last year it was up and down, especially the second half of the year, not as good from him for the Ottawa Senators. But I'm actually surprised that James Reimer's in net here tonight for the Sharks, although it is a back-to-back. They play in Toronto tomorrow night. But Aidan Hill's actually played some nice goaltending performances from him the first two games in net for the Sharks, but they go with Reimer. It is first of a back-to-back, so I think that definitely plays a part in the decision that they've made here. But how many times have we said it? Ottawa, they are a slight home dog, not a huge home dog here, but home underdog role has been good for this team. They already beat Toronto as a home dog this year last week. They beat Dallas as a home underdog on Sunday. So Ottawa getting a home underdog price, sign me up. I like the Senators here in this one. I respect San Jose for the 2-0 start, but I still have this team pegged as a team that's a non-playoff team. It's probably going to fall off after this little early season spurt that they've gone on, and I think the losses start tonight for them here in Ottawa. Alex, what do you think here, Sharks and Sens?
I got to go with the old not so fast, my friend. I'm looking at this matchup, and there's a reason why James Reimer is starting, because his numbers against Ottawa are lights out. It's actually the best against any team he's faced. 15-6-3 with a 2.55 goals against, 926 save percentage, and 4 shutouts. A lot of those came, of course, with his time during the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, a big battle and a big rivalry there. But there's also numbers with Carolina as well. So he's familiar with this team, and he's seen obviously more of the bad Ottawa than any of the good Ottawa. Brady Tkachuk coming back, that is a big, huge addition. But then you go right back to looking who's in net, Matt Murray. There's a guy we just can't really rely on, and we want to see how he's going to do, right away, just see if we can, feel him out a little bit. So maybe I would look at taking San Jose, minus $1.05 first period, and then you can make adjustments from there in game. But I think San Jose, I would lean more toward them. They got some good momentum right now, even though Ottawa being at home and Tkachuk, that's going to get the crowd revved up for sure. But I think Reimer is going to be able to stand tall in the spot here, and San Jose more likely end up getting the win.
All right, so liking San Jose here, Alex, in this one. Jimmy, what do you think, San Jose Ottawa?
Yeah, well, first off, I'm going to go with Tkachuk on a goal prop here. I just think he's going to be revved up, and he's going to put one in right off the get-go here. But I think it's going to be a great game. And I don't think, looking at this game maybe a week ago on the schedule, we would all say that. But I really do. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. I like the way both teams have played thus far. So I'm going to go with the over in this, guys. And I definitely could see an overtime here, but for now, I'll just stick with the over/under and take the over.
All right, liking goal. It's it definitely feels like there could be some goals tonight. But look, San Jose was very good defensively against Montreal. But yeah, I could see it with these two now, and I don't know what we're going to get from Murray. Murray didn't have a great year last year. He's making his first start. How effective will he be? So I could see this one maybe getting over. I didn't bet it, but I could see the reasons for liking it over. Carolina, Montreal. Do we have reasons to like Montreal right now? Can we find reasons to like Montreal right now? Carolina minus 115 to minus 120 road favorites, 5.5 the total in this one. And maybe I'm a prisoner of Carolina. Nice start to the year, beating with their start to the season that they've had, and Montreal struggling. But I am going to back Carolina here at minus 115. And I don't like what I'm hearing from Montreal after that terrible loss to San Jose, 5-0. They're actually pretty much out of the game after the first period with just how bad that game went for them. I definitely think this is a spot for me where if you're Montreal and you've started the way you have, 0-4, I want to hear something like, we're pissed off. We're angry. We got to fix this. We need the next game to be a whole lot better. I'm hearing Josh Anderson. I'm hearing even Gallagher after the game. It's not the start we wanted, but it's a very long season ahead. There's a lot of hockey to play, I heard that multiple times. Long season ahead. There's lots of hockey still in front of us. I don't want to hear that shit. I want to hear we're angry right now. We're 0-4. Next game, we want to win and fix this. We want to get this corrected. We want to get this fixed. We don't want this permeating indefinitely, this slump that we've had starting the year. I don't want to hear it's a long season. It's a lot of hockey left, because that doesn't indicate to me a sense of urgency for this group when I hear a quote like that. That I didn't like hearing that. Simple as that. Now, does it mean it's an automatic that they lose tonight after hearing that? No, but to me, it seems like you think you can go 0-8 and 0-10 and 1-13 and still, long season ahead. Lots of hockey. We can find our way out of this. Doesn't always work that way. And, they mentioned it even on TNT last night. You dig yourself enough of a hole, you could bury yourself very quickly. So, I just didn't like that. I mean, I didn't get that sense that, hey, we want to fix this and get this turned around immediately. And for Montreal, it's everything. The offense is non-existent right now. They're having trouble putting the puck in the net. Goes without saying. I mean, the Buffalo Sabres, they only score 1 goal when they lost to them last week. They didn't score against the Rangers. They get shut out by San Jose. I mean, this is a team that's really finding it tough to find the back of the net at this point in time. What's Tyler Toffoli done this year? It's absolutely invisible this year. Cole Caulfield's had a slow start. They need more from Anderson. Everybody, Suzuki, has not exactly been what we thought coming into the year. So they need some offense. And look, their defensive play has been, we knew the defense would struggle a bit. You don't have Weber anymore. Your top 4 is a little bit depleted now, that big 4 that they relied on so much during the playoffs, and they have no Carey Price. So it puts a lot more duress on Jake Allen and whoever's in net as well for the Montreal Canadiens. So there's issues galore right now with this team. Neither team has confirmed a goalie. The projected goalies are Jake Allen and Frederik Andersen right now in this game, but I still like Carolina here. It's not a big price. You're talking -115, -120 in this game. I'll lay that road chalk. And someone else hinted to it in the chat. I already bet it, so you're reading my mail or my notes for sure. Jesperi Kotkaniemi to score a goal, right? I mean, against his former team, he's fired up. He's not going to say it publicly. A lot of players won't, but when you don't match the offer sheet by Carolina, that's almost a sign that, you don't think I'm good enough, or you're not willing to go. They shouldn't have matched it, but they're not willing to go that extra mile to keep me. If you're Jesperi Kotkaniemi, you're thinking that, and you'd like to stick it to them tonight in the first game against your former team. So Jesperi Kotkaniemi, shots, goal, to anytime goal scorer, any props involving Jesperi tonight, I think worth a bet as well. Alex, what do you think here with Carolina, Montreal?
Yeah, that's going to be the big storyline for sure. And, Montreal is going to be focusing more on booing him, hopefully, than they will be their own team tonight, at least at the first 20 minutes of play. I look for him to get a point. I'll take that at +155 as opposed to a goal, because he might just chip in on an assist or something, but you cash either way, whether he gets on the score sheet. And I like what I'm going to do is also play Montreal to score first. I usually don't have this available pregame. I know some shops do. So if you do play that first, I'll just jump on it right as the game starts. And then I'll try to take Carolina back live on money line. I think that, Montreal is going to come out guns blazing, even though like I said, the quotes don't sound like they're just saying, going through the motions. It's just a slow start. But I think the sense of urgency, they're keeping it within the locker room. Obviously, Montreal is one of those places like Toronto where, the media is going to, clip everything word for word and analyze it. So they might be kind of playing coy to the media, but things might be, DEFCON 2 in the locker room. And we'll get to see that going into the first period. So get a feeling out of seeing how they come out. If we get that first goal and then they're still rolling hot, then, maybe, just avoid the Carolina live money line and, still try to adjust and look for things in game. But that's how I'm going to start off playing it. And I just want to watch and see how they play in the first 10 or 15 minutes. And they don't get the goal, then, we can still find a way to get Carolina money line. They might get the first goal in the second and then still end up losing the game.
All right. Interesting strategy there. I kind of like it, actually. What do you think here, Jimmy? Carolina, Montreal.
Yeah, I mean, I got a feeling, too, we're going to see a good first period from the Habs, too. So I'm going to go right with that and follow Alex on that one, but also take them overall in the first period to go into the intermission with the lead, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
All right, Montreal early, and we'll see what kind of response we have from this Montreal team, but definitely not the start that they were hoping for, coming off a run, obviously, to the Stanley Cup final last year. But you're going to find out early because, look, the San Jose game, talk about urgency and having a good first period. I can't believe how bad the first period was for a team that hadn't won a game at home against San Jose the other night. I mean, it was awful. They couldn't generate anything. They had 3 shots on goal in that opening period. San Jose was carrying the play, was in the offensive zone most of that first period. So obviously Montreal is going to be definitely a team that's got to shore that up and fix it moving forward. Starting tonight, we'll see if they get a better start. All right, before we move on to our next game, talking about DraftKings, the great partners here with THPN and the Ice Guys, and the official sports betting partner of the NFL and now the NHL as well, DraftKings. New customers, you can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game this Sunday. If they do, you win $200 in free bets. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. It's that simple. Now, if you're in a state where there is no DraftKings Sportsbook available yet, or you're in Canada, don't worry. You can still play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings daily fantasy sports contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. All you have to do, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use promo code THPN, and again, just bet $5 on any NFL team to win their game this weekend and win $200 in free bets. If they win, you win with promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of both the NFL and NHL. Must be 21 years of age or older in a state with DraftKings Sportsbook available. New customers only, minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required, 1 per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download that DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Sign up for an account. Use that promo code THPN. All right, we move on now to the next game on the Thursday card. Halfway through the card, Calgary, Detroit. We've got Calgary here, -130 to -135, road favorites, 5.5 the total. You know that if Detroit doesn't cough up a lung in the third period against Tampa Bay, they're undefeated right now. So give the Red Wings a lot of credit here in this game. And this is the final game of their little spurt at home to begin the year. Of course, they just disheartening because they led the majority of that game against Detroit against Tampa Bay, and then they lost 7-6 in overtime. But they bounced back pretty well since then. You could say they got heavily outplayed by Vancouver. Thomas Greiss was good. He was the big reason they beat Vancouver. They played a lot better against Columbus, got their offense going, dominated, had the puck most of the night, had the edge and played significantly over Columbus, and they won 4-1 the other night. I'm not rushing to lay a price on the road with the Flames. I mean, we've talked about Calgary a lot. It's not a team that I'm fully on board with bouncing back this year. They brought Daryl Sutter in knowing he's turned mediocre teams into good ones. But this isn't the LA Kings of the mid-2010s that he's dealing with here. This is a bunch that is collectively and repeatedly underachieved. Gaudreau, Monahan. It's the same crew that is consistently disappointed for Calgary the last 2 years. Yeah, I'm not backing Calgary here on the road. It looks like Jacob Markstrom and Alex Nedeljkovic is going to be your goaltending matchup here in this game. And when you look at Nedeljkovic, had a little bit of a struggle, no question, against the Tampa Bay Lightning in that first game. And it was Greiss that backstopped Detroit to the 2 wins against Vancouver and Columbus. But he's still a good goalie in my mind. I think he'll be fine. It was just one of those games where with Tampa Bay, when they get it going, and Detroit's defense, I think they kind of panicked too when Tampa Bay made it 6-5 and then they tied it, and you could sense it was slipping away. I think he's a more than capable enough goalie to want to really bounce back after letting that game get away from him. Not just Nedeljkovic, the whole team against Tampa Bay last week in the opener. So I like Detroit a little here, +110. You're not getting like last year, you're probably getting more than a better price than this with Detroit. But Detroit started off better than people thought. Calgary's 0-2. And as a result, you're only getting +110, +115 with Detroit here instead of maybe +150 or so. So you're not getting the value that maybe you would have last year. And maybe we got to get used to that as they're starting to adjust to this Red Wings team a bit, but I'll still take them here. +115, Detroit is a home underdog. Alex, your thoughts here, Flames and Red Wings?
Yeah, we're not getting the value here with the regular money line, but there's some good value left with the regulation at +175. That's the direction I'm going to go in. Like I said, this is a Calgary team. Haven't been high on at all. coming into the season in Detroit. Like I said, they look really good. You throw away the back and forth battle they had with Tampa Bay, and they've won 2 games. Nedeljkovic has struggled in that game, but obviously look at Tampa Bay's offense compared to what Calgary's going to be throwing at him. It's not going to be exactly the same kind of speed and skill that he'll be facing tonight. So I think he'll be able to do well. Like I said, that they want to in this road this homestand on a good note. So I like Detroit plus 175 in regulation.
All right, there you go. Detroit plus 175 in regulation, and again, you're turning a small plus price into a much bigger one. Just like the regulation line sometimes for a favorite can turn it from laying a price to a plus price if you go regulation instead of full game. So always look to spare the bankroll, if you will, because again, if you could lose less in terms of per game per unit, that's going to save you in the long run when it comes to your bankroll when it comes to betting NHL on a daily basis. Jimmy, what do you like your Calgary Detroit?
Yeah, I really don't have a feel on this one, guys. I'm going to pass on this. I agree with you. Detroit has played better. Calgary's due to start to really pick it up, I think. This team, one of these days, they're going to live up to the talent they have on paper, you would hope. But we'll see what happens tonight. If I was going to do anything, I would lean towards Calgary in this, but I'm going to pass in this game.
All right, we got the next game, New York Rangers, Nashville Predators. Even money both sides, 5.5 the total in this game. Jimmy's 1-month ban on the betting the New York Rangers till November 15th. I have not forgotten, is still in effect. So that precludes him from betting the Rangers tonight. He can bet Nashville. He could recommend Nashville if he wants, but no, he's not touching this game. He's sworn off the Rangers for a bit. And I'm on the Rangers here. I'm getting back on them here. And I watch them lose because my timing has been off with them so far. I mean, took them against Washington, really liked them against Washington last week, and we saw it didn't go well for them. But look, they played I don't want to say they played great because, look, Toronto should have probably beat them the other night. Shesterkin was outstanding. That overtime was insane with the Rangers and the Leafs on Monday night, but he was outstanding in net. The Predators kind of got the best of me the other night because I took L.A. With that against Nashville, but that doesn't dissuade me much from taking going against Nashville again. I still don't think highly of the Predators a whole lot. Saros has, struggled a bit against Carolina, struggled a bit against Seattle, did play a lot better against LA. But if he doesn't play well in net, there's a suspect blue line more than ever, more than in many years for Nashville. Yossi's slowing down. He's now still got the good skating, shoot the puck, move. His defensive play has declined a little bit too. Ekholm's not getting any younger. They don't have Ryan Ellis anymore. They don't have that same depth on the blue line. You can't count on Duchesne. Johansson, Duchesne, one night to the next. I said it too. Forsberg to me is slowly he's not totally inept or anything. He's still a very good player, but he's not, his skills are eroding just ever so slightly. Let's put it that way for him as well. So I like the Rangers usually are a good road team as well. Look what they've done on the road already. Montreal and Toronto, back-to-back road wins for them. I like them here at around even money. I lean slightly to the over as well, just because I think the Rangers know that, offensively got to pick it up a little bit after the last 2 games, and I think they're capable of doing that here. So I lean over, but I like the stronger opinion for me on this game is the Rangers here at around even money. Alex, what are your thoughts here, Rangers and Preds?
Yeah, I'm on the Rangers too, and like I said, it's not so much backing the Rangers, although they've done well, especially in Nashville. They've won 7 of the last 10 meetings. Which is a good sign. Anybody who can play well in Bridgestone Arena, that's one of the tougher places to play in the league. Even if Nashville's not playing it at their best level, the crowd's always in it. But this is a Predators team, like you mentioned, they're just kind of faltering. They were, fortunate to get the 2-1 win against LA, where the Kings were dominating most of the first period and most of the second period as well. They just kind of let their foot off the gas late in the third, and 2 goals go in, and all of a sudden, they're just cruising away with the win. So I think that was more of a LA letdown than a Nashville comeback. And I think that New York's going to come in here and like I said, that top line is humming right now with Kreider, Zibanejad, and Panarin. And it's super unfortunate because I had Chris Kreider over a half a point. And you get Zibanejad to score a goal unassisted. And then, of course, it's Zibanejad and Panarin that team together in overtime to get the win last game. So Kreider was held off the point sheet, but I think he'll be able to do some damage tonight along with his line mates. So I like New York here at a pick and price.
All right, liking the Rangers as well. Jimmy, I think he's going to give it the old pass, right? You can't bet the Rangers anyway, and I don't think he likes Nashville enough to bet them. So there you go, right?
Yep, it's a pass.
All right, we move on now to Anaheim and Winnipeg. Winnipeg minus 180, home favorites, 5.5 the total. And that's why you tune into That's Hockey on TSN like I did last night. It's a good show. It's like 30 minutes, and they give you all the headlines, news, stories, rumors, injuries, all that. And right at the top of the show last night, they talk about the Jets situation. Obviously, Blake Wheeler, COVID-19, that he's been a positive test. And then Sarah Orlesky, who covers the Jets locally there in Winnipeg, she comes on right at and breaking news. This could be a developing situation where this could actually lead to some more cases here for the Winnipeg Jets. And she was on top of that. She said, we don't know the full details yet, but right now it's looking like this could become not a full-on outbreak like the Canucks last year, but that this could end up being something a little bit more significant and a little bit more serious, and maybe more than just one player a la Wheeler could end up being diagnosed or and testing positive and entering the COVID-19 protocol. And Mark Scheifele is that guy for the Winnipeg Jets who has been added to COVID-19 protocols here. Yet, it said he still actually could find his way into the lineup tonight, but it's probably not going to happen. It's looking like more and more that he's going to be out tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. There was just initial thought that it was just precautionary that they put Scheifele in the COVID-19 protocol, but looking like now he is not going to play tonight. So you're down Wheeler and Scheifele, which means there's going to be some shakeups in the top six tonight for Paul Maurice. Looks like as of right now in morning skate, it's Pierre-Luc Dubois moving up to the #1 center spot, and that's a guy I'm looking at for props tonight. Him and actually his line mate as well, Nikolai Ehlers, who I think could actually get some offense going. He's kind of had a slow start, but I could see it going for him better tonight. Dubois playing with Ehlers and Connor. What a top line that is. He's loading up his top line, if that's the case, Paul Maurice, because that's arguably three of your best offensive weapons right there on the top line, especially with Scheifele out tonight. And what does that leave in the next three lines is the question mark now. And on the second line, you've got Stastny with Kopp and Svechnikov. You've got Christian Vesalainen with Jansen Harkins and Adam Lowry on the third line. And you've got Dominic Toninato, Riley Nash. And they're going to experiment with a guy who's a defenseman, Nathan Beaulieu. They might move him up to forward, apparently, on the fourth line tonight. So interesting for Paul Maurice doing that. So line juggling, line shuffling going on for him. Going into this game tonight against Anaheim. For the Anaheim Ducks, they've been obviously going through this Western Canada gauntlet, if you will. This will be their third road game in 4 nights. They lost to beat Calgary, I should say, in overtime 3-2. The very next night, gave Edmonton a pretty good game and a good battle, but end up on the losing end of a 6-5 game in that one. We'll see if Anaheim can bounce back here against Winnipeg. But you look at Winnipeg, there's just been a disappointing start to the year. They've given up 4 goals or more in all 3 games that they've played this year. That's a problem. They had the lead for majority of the game the other night against Minnesota, and then saw it just get away from them late. They end up losing in overtime 6-5. So with the struggles for the Jets, Connor Hellebuck hasn't looked great early in the year. And then you factor in the COVID-19 situation that is emerging right now. With the Jets, and you could pretty clearly see that I'm not interested in laying -180 with this team going into this game tonight. Not involved in the game because I don't trust Anaheim enough. And it is the Jets' home opener, right? I mean, being back home for the first time with a full crowd, like in every Canadian city, a full capacity for the first time is going to help the Jets. Should be a boost, but they're not in good form, and I'm not. And with the Scheifele out and the COVID-19 situation they're dealing with right now, I'm not laying -180. I know a couple people in the chat like in Anaheim a bit. I wouldn't talk anyone out of a sprinkle, at least, on Anaheim. It's just, we're seeing Anaheim having a tough time beating good teams this year. Minnesota beat them. Edmonton beat them. The question is Winnipeg a good team? I guess that remains to be seen. They haven't started out playing like one. Alex, what do you think here? Anaheim, Winnipeg.
Yeah, I jumped all over this yesterday when the news broke about the COVID. I actually got a text. I have some friends in Winnipeg that kind of hit me up with Jets news. So I got that well before the news, had reached the media. This is about maybe 3 or 4 o'clock Central Time. So I jumped all over Anaheim +170. I had plus 172. And then all of a sudden they said, okay, well, yeah, the player's out. Then they said it may not be out. They might be, just COVID protocol. But now we're seeing, like I said, no Scheifele, no Wheeler. That's a lot of offense to miss, especially with this Anaheim team. They're actually buzzing with some good speed offensively. They've been, keeping pace in games. The way they played against Edmonton, that was a valiant loss for them. Usually that's a game where they get squashed 8-4 normally. So they're keeping pace with teams, and I think this is the Winnipeg team, even though coming back home is going to be a rowdy atmosphere. They're going to have the white towels waving for sure. It's going to be feeling like a playoff game because it's been almost 600 days since the Jets have been at home in front of fans. I still think that Anaheim has enough, especially with Gibson starting in net. They can kind of take the crowd out of it and then take the team out of it. So I like the Ducks here to get the win on the money line plus 170.
All right, going for the Anaheim here, plus 170 as a big road underdog. Jimmy, what do you think here? Ducks, Jets.
Yeah, I'm right with Alex on this. I mean, the Jets are ravaged right now with the COVID there, and they just haven't played well since the season started. They haven't been able to really get things going and get on the same page. And it's going to be even tougher now with all those guys missing. So I'm actually going to go a step further here. Pull out the old reverse puck line, boys. Let's do it. The Ducks minus 1.5, and you're going to get some great value on that.
You sure are. I mean, wow. I mean, it's plus 160 to plus 170 right now, the money line on the Ducks. Minus 1.5, plus 340 is what we're looking at with that reverse puck line. So huge payout there, plus 340 if Anaheim can get this win by a margin of 2 goals or more tonight. Vancouver and Chicago next up. Chicago minus 130 to minus 135 home favorites. 6.5 the total in this game. Extremely disappointed, obviously, with the Blackhawks the other night against the Islanders. 4-1 win for the Islanders, and the goal was with 20 seconds left, essentially, to avoid the shutout. For Chicago, if they bring it tonight, I could see them actually getting the first win. Like, Vancouver's road weary. They've been traveling for a while. We just saw the Canucks lose to the Buffalo Sabres the other night, the surprising Buffalo Sabres. Like we say, like we talked about with Buffalo, we don't know if this is going to last, but they played better than a lot of people have thought. And that's now 2 losses in a row to the Sabres and the Red Wings, 2 of the worst teams in the NHL last year. And Vancouver just lost back-to-back games to both of them. They barely beat Philadelphia in a shootout before that, lost to Edmonton in a shootout. So just 1-3. They've been on the road for a very long time. And now they're finally, after tonight, it looks like going to be going back home and taking on Minnesota after this. So a welcome trip home for the Vancouver Canucks after tonight. So I just don't love the spot here for Vancouver on the road for a while, and a banged up hockey team. Let's not forget that. Quinn Hughes was out the last game. We'll see if he's returning. It looks like he will. He's been upgraded to probable tonight. Quinn Hughes on the blue line here for the Vancouver Canucks. But Chicago just basically, lying in wait, if you will, since the Tuesday night loss to the Islanders, 4-1. We've had Vancouver on the road now for a little bit of time here to start the year. I'm not laying it with Chicago. I'm just not doing it. But I'm just saying, I'm giving you the reasons why I'm staying off Vancouver tonight. Their play has been a little bit inconsistent. Losing to Buffalo is obviously a problem. Very sloppy with the puck as well against the Buffalo Sabres. A lot of breakdowns. And the one thing Chicago's got is some offense. So if you're breaking down left and right, like you were against Buffalo, turning the puck over, coughing it up in bad areas of the ice, Chicago does have, the personnel up front to make you pay for it. Kane, DeBrincat, Kubalik, go on down the list. Guys that can make you pay for this, for some sloppy and haphazard play with the puck. So for that reason, I like the over. I got it at 6. It's moved up now, unfortunately, 6.5. So you could still bet at 6.5, or wait in game, kind of what Alex suggested with Colorado, Florida. Another game with a 6.5 total, where maybe you wait, see if you can get a better number in game. But I do think, look, Chicago tried to play a better defensive game early against the Islanders, and they did, and they still lost. I think it's almost like, hey, they tried to shore up the defense, and we still broke down left and right. Let's just try to score goals. Let's just try to win a game. Let's be aggressive. I think they're going to have that mindset tonight. And like I said, Vancouver has been a little bit sloppy defensively, so I do like the over at 6. I got 6, even at 6.5. I would still lean that direction. Vancouver, Chicago, over the total. Alex, what do you think here? Canucks, Blackhawks.
Yeah, I'll be waiting in game, but not for the full game over, for the first period over. So very quickly, this literally, and I just tweeted this out. Follow me on Twitter at AX Sports. 3 games I'm looking at with live wager opportunities. I kind of detailed what I just went over with, like you said, the Avalanche game and the Calgary game as well. But this is definitely a spot where the Hawks have to come out guns blazing, just like they did the other night against the Islanders. Like I said, they looked great with as far as scoring chances go at high danger chances and shots on goal in the first period. Unfortunately, Ilya Sorokin was just standing on his head, making some big saves. You're going to run into that with any team any night. It doesn't matter how bad or good you're playing. So, hopefully they can get that same pace going, especially against a Vancouver team. Like they're banged up. This is the end of their road trip. This is definitely a spot where you can really catch them off guard, and they can say, hey, you know what? If we get beat here, so what? We get to go home and finally rest a bit after being on the road for quite a few days. So this is a spot where Chicago's got to just come jumping out. Like I said, don't worry about the defensive part so much early. Try to get some goals. Try to take Vancouver out of this game early. If you can get 3 or 4 goals, then hell, you can work on the defense for the last 40 minutes of play. But try to get some offense rolling. So I like the first period over, but do not lay 150. Wait, it'll be literally 1 or 2 minutes in. And that 150, unless there's a goal in the first 20 seconds, which the Hawks have allowed twice so far this season, you'll be able to get that 150 down to 130, 120, and then that'll be within my striking range. If I see 120 or better, then I'll be going for that with the first period over tonight.
By the way, I've looked at high danger chances against, expected goals against. Both of these teams, Chicago, and they're identical. The identical ranking for these teams in both categories. Chicago is 26th in the NHL in expected goals against and high danger chances against. And Vancouver's actually worse, you guys. 29th in expected goals against and high danger chances against. So put those two factors together, and you got two teams that could be giving some up here at the back end tonight. Jimmy, what do you think? Canucks, Blackhawks?
Guys, I'm with Alex on this one. This will be a live one for me. But if I was going to look at a side here too, I like the Blackhawks in this one. I think they're due, and they've been pressing. Like Alex said before, they were really all over the Islanders, and if not for Sorokin, they probably win that game. So sooner or later, that's going to pay off, and they're going to go in. So if I was leaning towards the side, I would do that. But this is going to be a live betting game for me.
Yeah, definitely. It's a situation where they could have had a couple at least. First period the other night against the New York Islanders. By the way, Thatcher Demko, Kevin Lankinen, the goalies tonight in this one, Vancouver and Chicago. Not a bad idea to give Fleury a breather. None of this is not, maybe 1 goal, 2 goals. Alex said it the other day, 1 goal, 2 goals, maybe his fault, but he's been let down by the guys in front of him. Maybe just give him a mental break, take a breath, decompress, get ready for the next game. Because obviously this is a frustrating start for him with his new team, and it's not really been all his fault at all. Fleury in net for Chicago. All right, final game of this Thursday card, Edmonton, Arizona. Edmonton minus 200, road favorites here, 6 the total in this game. Arizona, obviously the odds makers and bookmakers and the betting markets are adjusting quickly, to how bad Arizona could be, historically bad. This is what this team could be this year. The fact that Edmonton's laying minus 200 on the road, at Arizona, you're already starting to see it's already. I mean, a couple games into the year, guys, I thought we're going to have at least some decent value to fade Arizona every single game. And already you're starting to erode, this value. It's already minus 135 just to bet Edmonton in regulation here. And I am on that bet, by the way, Edmonton in regulation here, minus 135. But I think you're going to see, if Arizona keeps this up, you're going to be seeing them, teams that are minus 250 at Arizona against them, and now minus 150 or more just in regulation. So, it's tough sledding for Arizona. This blue line's terrible. I mean, when you got Shane Goss to spare, you think bringing him in is going to fix the defense? You got problems. That's an issue with Arizona right now. I like Jacob Chikrin, but he's not a number 1 defenseman or a top pair defenseman right now. And unfortunately, you got a lack of options and a lack of depth back there that he's put into that kind of role, unfortunately, when he's probably not ready for it. You've got very young guys back there, too. The Goss spares, Connor Timmins, too, and other guys. He ready to be a top pair defenseman? I don't think so. Ilya Lyubushkin, Victor Soderstrom, in the bottom pair. They've also had their issues. Like I said, Goss has been just a train wreck again in his own zone, much like he was a lot for Philadelphia. So they're just hemorrhaging goals, left and right, and giving up too many good quality chances. Now, the one thing that would caveat to all of this is that the goalie in net tonight's the goalie that actually, the one game Arizona actually looked okay defensively against Buffalo. This is the guy that was in net, Karel Vejmelka here for the Arizona Coyotes. But, we're talking Buffalo. We're talking not the offensive prowess that the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid and Draisaitl and the Nuge and Zach Hyman and all these guys can throw at you. let's see what he can do tonight when you're not playing the Buffalo Sabres offense, even though Buffalo at times has been able to score goals here tonight. To me, I mean, this should be a spot for Edmonton to get the job done. They do play Vegas, coming up. So you always worry, are you looking ahead to the trip to Vegas? But I don't know. I don't think it's going to matter. I mean, we could be looking ahead to a trip to Vegas, play Arizona, and still score 6 against them at this point with what I've seen from this Keystone Cop defense and blue line from the Arizona Coyotes. So I like Edmonton in regulation. I also think their team total over 3.5 might be worth a look, and the full game over, it goes without saying. Because the one thing about Arizona is they did score 4 in their home opener. I don't know, playing at home, it gives you more energy, gives you more pep in your step. I could see them contributing to the offense too, especially against a guy like Mikko Koskinen for the Edmonton Oilers, who's going to be in net. He's been very, very up and down, inconsistent, erratic throughout his career with the Oilers. He'll get his first start tonight for Edmonton. I think Arizona could find their way to a couple goals, maybe even 3. Edmonton will certainly, I think, get minimum of 3. So I like over 6 as well, Edmonton, Arizona. Alex, what do you think here, Oilers, Coyotes?
Yeah, I mentioned it the other day about how NHL Network, after that Buffalo Arizona game, they were gassing up Karel Vejmelka like he was the next Pecorine. It was just absolutely insane. And like I said, he's playing against Buffalo. He wasn't stopping the 96 Red Wings power play, all that game. So now he's going to be facing a real offense here in the Edmonton Oilers. This team's been just blazing hot so far. McDavid picking up right where he left off from his MVP year. Draisaitl, they finally have that second line. It balanced out. They've got decent scoring and depth. So this is what I'm doing. I'm taking one unit and I'm splitting it amongst 4 wagers. I'm going Edmonton, first period puck line. So laying a half a goal plus 135. I'm taking the full game over 6. I got that at minus $1, actually $1.12. I also have Oilers team total over 3.5, minus $1.25. And then that last quarter unit, I'll be trying to look for something in-game adjusted quickly with the first period over. Right now, you'll be laying 150, 155. Some places it's 2. Just wait a little bit, and I'll drop down to 130, 135. And hopefully, there won't be a goal within the first 2 minutes. And then you'll have a unit spread across all 4 of those. I think that cashes. Vejmelka's bubble gets burst. We should see Edmonton get somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 7 goals tonight.
Yeah, outscored, by the way, Arizona 17-7 in the first 3 games. That's just absolutely awful for them. So right now we're already seeing Arizona giving up just slightly below 6 goals per game on average in their first 3 games. And get used to that, I think, if you're watching this Arizona team. Definitely. And look, they've played Buffalo. They've played Columbus. They played St. Louis. I mean, Edmonton, in terms of top-end elite skill, elite offensive talent, Edmonton's got more than those 3 teams, and Arizona's like giving up a boatload of goals to those 3. So, yeah, this could get scary for Arizona tonight if they don't show anything better at the defensive end. It could get ugly for them once again. Jimmy, what do you think here, Edmonton, Arizona?
Yeah, guys, I mean, it just doesn't look good for Arizona in this. I love Edmonton in this game. I'm going to go with them on the puck line here. And I'm also going to jump all over that over. If you can still get it at 6, I mean, I think we could see them put up 6 goals themselves on Arizona. So I love that over. So give me the puck line and also the over.
Yeah, minus 1.5, plus 115 for that Edmonton puck line, and Jimmy liking the over as well with the Oilers and Coyotes. All right, before we wrap up the show, it is time for best bets for this Thursday edition. We got lots to choose from. A 10-game NHL card on this Thursday night. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
Yeah, I know I went with a lot of different things, live wagers and splitting things up, but I'm going to go with the one solid unit play I have that's for my best bet. We'll make it the Anaheim Ducks on the money line. Like I said, this is a good spot for them. They're playing well. They're catching a Winnipeg team that, could be a bit tired, obviously missing a couple of key pieces offensively. And even though they're going to have that home crowd rocking and rolling, I think Anaheim be able to take control and take the crowd out of it and then finally get 2 points on the board for them. So I like the Ducks as my best bet tonight.
All right, there you go. Anaheim, and not just Anaheim as a best bet, Anaheim and a big underdog price as the best bet for Alex in this Thursday card. Alex B. Smith like an Anaheim plus 160 to plus 165, best current available price with the Ducks. That's the best bet for Alex. Jimmy, what do you like for best bet?
I'm going to stick right with that game we discussed last, the Edmonton, Arizona. I'm going to take that over as my best bet.
All right, Edmonton, Arizona, over 6. Best bet for Jimmy Murphy tonight in the Oilers and the Coyotes. And I'm going to go Islanders. Minus 142 is the best price out there right now with the New York Islanders. I think it's just a step up in class for Columbus. It is. Like, credit to them. 2-1 start, but you haven't played anybody yet, essentially. You played Arizona. You played an expansion Seattle Kraken team that has been traveling a lot. And then you played Detroit the other night and you lost 4-1. I think now with the Islanders, a good team that struggled, lost their first couple games, got right against Chicago, got well, and now looking to use that as a springboard to get on a little bit of a roll. So moderate price, more than I usually like to lay, but we'll do it tonight. We'll make an exception and lay some road chalk tonight. Road chalk worth laying in my mind. New York Islanders, minus 142 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Best bet for me for this Thursday NHL card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone for joining us in the chat who tunes in live on YouTube. And a reminder, the Ice Guys is live on YouTube 7 days a week. We are the only 7 days a week NHL betting show out there. The only one that breaks down every single game on the card all season long, regular season and playoffs. You can watch the Ice Guys live on YouTube 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. And if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio, among others. For Alex B. Smith and Jimmy Murphy, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll talk to you again tomorrow on Friday for another edition of the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.